Of course, I wasn't looking forward to seeing her or anything. It just wasn't polite to make someone wait. Just as I had passed some boys wearing school uniforms and then the gas station, I caught a glimpse of Adachi. There was a conflict of emotions in my head. On one hand, I felt relieved that she had waited for me, and on the other, sorry for making her wait. She stood there in the drizzle, holding up an umbrella. The fact that she cared once surprised me. You didn't need to go out of your way to match the pose. Seeing Adachi sit on the fence in the exact same pose from yesterday made me jiggle. As I ran towards her, a little out of breath, she noticed me, hopped off it, and waited with her hands on her bike's handlebar. I quickly ran the rest of the way to her, and though I still hadn't made it home, silently muttered, "Go." Sorry, it started raining. No need to apologize. I mean, the rain's not your fault. Adachi looked a little embarrassed. Hold this, she said, before handing me the umbrella. Then, with both of her hands now free, she released the kickstand of her bike with her foot before looking back to me. Which way's your house? That way, I pointed. Thought so. Adachi's face clouded over. I gave her a questioning look, as if asking, "Is that no good?" "No, it's just my house is over that way," she replied, pointing in a direction around 70 degrees off the one I had. It wasn't all that surprising when you consider the fact that we obviously didn't share a middle school district, but even so, we really did live far apart. There was no need for Adachi to pass through here on her way home. And yet, she had been here yesterday. Why? Another on the pile of mysteries surrounding her. Whose house are we going to first? What a novel question. Well, how about yours? I answered. There was no getting over the fact that one of us will have to make a huge detour. I decided to give Adachi priority over myself, in part due to feeling guilty for making her way in the rain. She had no objections to this and got on her bike. You're riding on the back? Okay, you hold the umbrella then. Adachi kicked the rear wheel lightly. Not a bad idea. Still, tongue-in-cheek, I pretended to admonish her. Two people sharing a bike is against the rules. So what? We're delinquents. Yeah, I guess that's true. Comes with a lot of benefits, huh? Definitely does. As Adachi had suggested, I quickly hopped onto the back. I placed my feet on either side of the wheel and a hand on her shoulder for support. Ready? I told her, holding the umbrella in my remaining hand. Adachi began pedaling. She seemed to have some trouble at first, but as the speed stabilized, it became easier for her to keep the pedals moving smoothly. I looked down at her head, though definitely pretty when viewed in combination with her face. Looking at it on its own, it seemed kind of surreal, like some sort of a fuzzy creature. Was my head like that too? Had either one of us been a good, diligent student, she'd likely have yelled something like, "This isn't an okay thing to do," and attempted to pull the other back on the right track, burning with a passion to help her friend. Of course, neither Adachi nor I were. If anything, it felt like we were sinking deeper. I also felt like I was holding the umbrella way too high, and I was doing a horrible job walking the rain. You have friends, huh, Shimamura? Driving back the road, which I had come down, Adachi spoke, facing forward. Her voice sounded calm, but also a bit dry. Perhaps that was due to it coming from slightly below me. I had a hunch that things could get pretty awkward depending on my answer. Why? Well, that I was not sure about. I'm also friends with Unicorn H&M, I joked, poking fun at the last name I hated so. Adachi's shoulders wavered lightly, as if to indicate a jiggle. I figured the reason you were hanging in a place like that was because you didn't have any. What a rare occurrence. Adachi was talking about me. Or perhaps was having such a view more of a comment on herself than anything? In turn, I asked Adachi about her. What about you, Adachi? You have any friends? You, I guess? That's not many. Though I said that, I also felt a tiny bit light. Although, I guess it wasn't really something to be happy about from her perspective. The next corner was a sharp turn. Adachi steered the way she always did, but with another person's worth of additional weight on top of it. The bike wasn't quite as responsive as she had expected. Wobbling, we came close to scraping against the wall of the building next to us. Adachi turned her head upwards after gaining control. With no regard to the road, she stared up at me. What? She didn't answer right away. The bike continued traveling forward, her head still bent backwards. I wanted to watch the road in her stead and make sure that we didn't crash into anything, but it was hard to turn my eyes away when we stared at. Earlier, while I was watching the run towards me, I kinda thought that, yeah, there's something cat-like about you, Shimamura. I could hear the bike's tires spinning under Adachi. A cat? Not human. Whoa, mean. How had I been running to in a comment like that? Or maybe it was my face? Did my face look like a cat's face? What about me makes you think of a cat? The fact that you don't seem like you warm up to people. You think so? You don't? The fact that I made no effort to speak about myself, nor about the person I was talking to. I felt like that was what Adachi's eyes were saying. My fingers gripped her shoulder slightly more tightly. While I did think that there was a part of me that didn't want to let people in, I assumed that was more or less true for everyone. Just a natural part of being a person. Perhaps it was assumptions like this which led to others thinking that I didn't warm up to them. However, I had to wonder, wasn't Adachi like that as well? Not that I even knew if what she was saying was true, as I had never owned a cat. I don't think someone who doesn't warm up to people will ride a bike with another person. Maybe you see me as a cat or something? As she said that, Adachi at last turned to face forward, back to safe driving. I didn't feel at all relieved, however. Rather, a sensation resembling uneasiness filled me. I really didn't like how much we were talking about me. Like averting its eyes, my mind too fled from that topic. And what better place for it to flee than to what Adachi had just said? Adachi was a cat too? Two cats sitting silently on the second floor of the gym. Lying in front of the window, as rays of light passed through it, not caring that it was slightly hot and humid up there, chasing after a ping pong ball as it bounced around. That definitely was cat-like.